So if you're a regular reader of my emails or watch my video podcast, you know I regularly take Redfin to task for their misuse, I think, of information, their obvious dishonest approach to reporting data and information. But this goes a little step further than that. As I was reflecting on kind of major trends in real estate as the year comes to an end, I realized that my frustration with Redfin goes much deeper, and it really is that I believe they stand on the opposite side of what's good about the real estate industry, capitalism in America, business competition. And so I did put together my thoughts and I created this list of 7 reasons I hate Redfin, and you should too. Now, by my nature, I'm not a hater. Like, there's not a long list of people I do hate. Now, I will say I went to USC. I do hate UCLA, but I respect Notre Dame. I don't hate Notre Dame. As a general rule in life, I don't go around really hating on people. I don't think that's my personality, but I do stand up to bullies. And I think that Redfin is a company that not only I don't mind good competition, but what I don't like, what I hate, is when people use power and influence to put down people, particularly preying on the weak and misinformed. And I think that summarizes Redfin. Now, I do want to say that they've been in business for 19 years. They were publicly traded starting in 2017. And so I feel like you have a responsibility when you're a big player in the industry to do good things. And I believe they've missed that boat. And I'm going to take them to task for that reason, for that today. So here is my list of 7 reasons. Now, if you have your reasons, put them in the chat below. If I'm wrong, argue with me, put your comments down below. Love to hear what you say about this. Number one, the original thesis was wrong. The original thesis when Redfin launched was that commission agents were bad and salaried employees were good. And there's always been this theory in the real estate industry, if I can just hire salespeople, they'll do what I tell them to do, and they'll give better service and cost less than commission agents. Everybody looks at the agent's commission as the biggest piece to attack to reduce costs. It turns out the average agent doesn't make that much money on average in America. It's those of us who are at the top of the game that earn more by creating value for our customers. But the original thesis was they were going to hire salaried people and replace all of the commission agents. And it's interesting, on their latest earnings call and on an interview on CNBC, the current president of Redfin said, going forward, in order to compete in the business as getting more competitive, they're going to an all variable compensation structure, i.e. commission agents. The only way for them to continue to grow and keep and get great realtors is to go to commission structure. So their thesis is entirely wrong. Not only that, look at the results. In 19 years in business, the last 6 of which they've been publicly traded, they've never made a nickel of profit. They've lost $1,000 on average for every sale they've done, at least based on my assessment on their financials over the last 6 years. So here's a company that's not making any money, that's basically taking investor money and using that to hire people and service customers. Now, are they serving customers better than the average real estate agent? I don't hear anybody telling me that. I don't hear customers clamoring for Redfin, telling me Redfin's a great company. The opposite. They don't seem to list any property at all that I can see. So they do a certain amount of business, particularly in certain market areas. But again, in a competitive market like Los Angeles, I just don't see them being the leader growing. And their only strategy for growth is to get in the water and compete with us real estate agents based on a commission sale. You know, in terms of money, another example of this is Compass. Compass is a company that went public and bought up a bunch of companies and became really big. And now they're big, they're still losing money. And their only hope for losing money to turn that around is to lower commissions to their agents. So they've been paying on average like 85%, they're lower to 81%. So again, it sounds easy to hire people and to throw money at a solution. But one of the things I've learned in my 36 years in this business is real estate's one of the most competitive businesses there is. And people with a lot of money can push the weight around as long as they have a lot of money to waste. And the second they run out, they're no longer able to get away with it. Venture capital companies throughout history have used their money as bullies. For example, Uber. The only reason Uber exists is they raise so much money, they basically beat local city and state laws requiring registration and placards and such of taxis. Now, you might say that was a good thing. Okay, But it was against the law. They violated laws nonstop. They just hired an army of attorneys to defend themselves until they got big enough where they could say, fine, we'll now comply with the laws. And that's what Uber has to do nationally. Another example of a bully using their money is Amazon. Amazon lost money and put every bookseller out of business. The main reason why, if you remember back, this is often forgotten, is they had a built-in advantage. They weren't paying sales tax. In LA, I was paying 8% less on Amazon than the same book at a local bookstore. So this company was built on their monopolistic properties. In fact, Amazon made a deal with the US Postal Service where it's cheaper for them to send goods from China to my house than it was for somebody, say, in Northern California to send the same item to my house. And that's because they negotiated with incompetent federal bureaucrats and used their money and power to bully people to where today we have so few retailers. I mean, where are there bookstores? There's not even Amazon. They're so good at putting bookstores out of business. We even have an Amazon here in Los Angeles. The one that was in Century City, I think recently became non-books or something. They changed over entirely or closed down. So these companies have a theory that they're going to grow and grow and grow, which means they're going to put all the competition out of business, or at least enough competition out of business to where then they can be monopolistic, control pricing, and control the rules. Redfin, if you listen to their latest earnings call, that's their strategy. They're going to continue to grow. And at some point, they'll have to deal with profitability. But for now, as long as they destroy enough of the business, and I'm not worried, they're not hurting my business. They're hurting the average realtor, the buyer's agent, the part-time agent, and I think unfairly because they don't have to make a profit and they have their venture capital money to put people out of business. So again, their original thesis was their system was better for customers. In reality, the only truth is they're bullying people with their money, and that's how they built their business. That's reason number one. Number two, leaving the National Association of Realtors. Now, either you're a realtor or you're not. Either a member of an organization or you're not. Unfortunately, the National Association of Realtors, or NAR, had two major setbacks recently. One was the president was accused of sexual impropriety. I don't know if it was right or wrong, but he resigned in disgrace over it. He's gone. And the second was we lost a major lawsuit regarding commissions, accusing us of creating a cartel. It's a ridiculous lawsuit. It's pathetic. It's really a blight on America that we could have a jury in Missouri rewrite the entire industry with input from legislatures in any of the other 50 states. And I think that will play itself out. I think it's overblown. As a result, Redfin uses this opportunity to exit NAR and stick it to us on the way out. Now, I get you want to quit because the president did something wrong, but organizations have had leaders, make improprieties, they replace them. They're leaving NAR because I think they're afraid of the lawsuit and being a target lawsuit, which maybe is good strategy, but also means they're no longer real estate agents. At least it might be licensed agents, they're no longer realtors, and able to participate in our organization, share information, and share our listings. I predict they're either never really going to leave, and that pronouncement by the president was misleading, or two, they're going to have to come back. Because it's not because the association has a monopoly, it's the competition is so fierce that you can't go out on your own without cooperating with other agents. And I believe that's why that lawsuit in the end is going to work itself out. Number three, waste of investors' money. It isn't my money. I never invested in Redfin. But when they went public in 2017, the company was valued at $1.73 billion. They raised hundreds of millions of dollars from investors. And over time, people have traded their stock. And today, the company's worth about $600 million. They've lost over $1 billion in value. That's how they've been able to lose money with every sale. In my mind, giving maybe average service to customers. I can't speak to them being particularly good or bad. I assume they're average. They're not touting they're better. They're not showing any service records. My company does. We constantly hold ourselves accountable and share our service ratings amongst the top in the industry. But Redfin, I don't see doing that. But they're basically using investors' money, losing on every transaction to build market share. Eventually, it runs out. Meanwhile, the president gets paid $1 million salary a year to go on TV and badmouth the industry and badmouth competitors like me. He's worth $40 million of stock because of this company. But the truth is, the only reason they're even in business is they've misspent other people's money. They've been able to take advantage. People invested money expecting return and a profit, and instead their return has been negative. And they use that money to sell houses and then back off the industry. The whole thing is insane. That's not even the worst reason. Number 4, as an American, they don't pay any taxes. These guys have been around for however many years. They've been public for 6 years. They've never made a profit. Now you say, well, Bill, you can't pay taxes if you don't make a profit. Okay. So the president's worth $40 million. That didn't come out of thin air. He gets paid $1 million a year. I hope he pays taxes on his salary and W-2 and all that. But the company pays 0. So they're competing with realtors like me. If I sell a house, I have to make a profit. And then on top of that profit, for me, I've got to pay taxes. They pay 0 taxes. They have so many losses. I think if I read their financial statements right, they have a $6 million credit against any future taxes. So if they made $6 million profit, they still wouldn't pay any taxes until the next year. At some point, a society can't exist. If Amazon disrupts companies who no longer pay state and local taxes, and these big corporations, like Apple, they're all offshoring all their profits, how does society function when the wealthiest amongst us pay no tax? And more importantly, they use the term disrupt the industry. Really what they mean is put out of business lawful tax-paying competitors. The day they start paying taxes, the day they can talk about their value in our society. Number 5, the mortgage trap. Now, every major real estate company has some sort of a mortgage deal. And they all fantasize that they're going to, because of their value, get more people to use their mortgage company than others. And the company with the XP is the same way. But I believe nobody takes as far as Redfin does. Again, this is the power of being a big player with a lot of money, and all the real estate industry is your customer because they're advertising all these platforms. They're never get criticized on CNBC or MarketWatch or any of those places. So Redfin has on their website, let's take a quick look at it. On their website, here we go. Why buy with Redfin? Well, you get up to 0.25% off the standard interest rate if you finance with Bay Equity, our full service mortgage company. That sounds great. Redfin, they got together with this company, and you get a discount. Now, at the same time, if you go into Redfin's website and under buy with Redfin, you'll see that they have mortgage lenders, find lenders. If you click on that, here's a recent list of lenders. I find it fascinating that the one lender not on their list, I've never heard of NBKC Bank. Maybe they're a good company. I've never heard of Embrace Home Loans. I've been in the business 37 years. I have heard of First Citizens Bank, and I've never heard of Sammamish Mortgage Company. Might be fine companies. But don't you think Redfin would have their own company on this list? Why don't they? I'll tell you why. Because these companies are competing based on what? The fancy logo? No. Their cute name? No. They're competing on the rates. Customers go on this, put in their actual loan situation, and then click on one of these companies and hit get started. Bay Equity doesn't do that because they're one of the companies I've learned in this industry. There's 2 types of mortgage companies. Those that put the rates on mortgage on their sheet and those that don't. Those that do are saying, here's our rate, and we're going to have to roll up our sleeves and figure out a way to deliver that to you. Those that don't can put whatever rate they want when they talk to you on the phone and can email you whatever rate they want until they lock in the rate. But they don't actually put their rates on the website. And to me, that's always a sign of a bad mortgage company. They're not willing to be transparent. Interesting. You think of Redfin as being some transparent website, and they get the glow of these national website kind of companies. The reality is they charge companies to list on their lender site. At the same time, they're capturing every deal they can. Their in-house lender giving a discount of the rate of 0.25%. From what? So what if you call, so let's just go back for a second. If you go back to these mortgage companies. So imagine you go to NBKC Bank and they offer you 6.83 APR. They don't tell you what the other is. Fixed rate, 6.7%. So presumably, if Bay Equity is at 7, they give you a discount at 6.75, you're at the same spot. Well, I know Bay Equity is not at 7 because if they were, they'd be on this list. Why would you put them on there? It's obvious because they had no intention of competing on the rate. The only reason why they own Bay Equity is rather than paying this company 6.75, they hope to tell you the rate 7.5, get you to pay 7.25, and they make an extra profit. And so that's the mortgage trap that Redfin plays. I just think that's, I can't do that as a lender. You would call me dishonest for doing that. Okay, number 6 is they misuse their research to confuse the market. I have this podcast every week, and I'm not going to repeat that. All I'm going to say is every week, I can go to the website, see their latest publicity, their latest news release, and tell you they're misleading the public, either buyers or sellers, creating an uproar over something that's insignificant. I don't want to repeat that here. Number 7, though. This is another one that frosts me. They're either cheating their listing clients or their buyers. Well, Bill, that's a strong word, cheating. Well, let's take a look at their website. Why should you list? Here we go. Why sell with Redfin? Well, one reason why is preferred placement in search results. For the first week your listing is live, it will show at the top of buyer searches across the Redfin site and app. Well, that's interesting. I never knew that until I did a little research for this call. So what you're saying to me is, if I'm a Redfin buyer and not a seller, I'm going to unknowingly see listings of yours higher than others. Now, I have to tell you, when I, as a real estate agent, you go to my website, it says my listings, it says they're my listings. And if I give you an app that has you search all the listings, you search all the listings. But what I'm not allowed to do is tell you you're searching all the listings and put my listings at the top as though they just happen to be the best. That's what Redfin's doing. So either they're charging their sellers to mislead the buyers, or they're fooling their buyers to make money with their sellers. Either one of those or both are misleading, I think, to the customer. And again, I can't do that as an agent. I'm obligated. In fact, I would say when I sign a listing, I don't double in like most realtors, my transactions, unless there's a compelling reason for my client. What do I mean by that? In general, I don't do it. Occasionally, I get a property that really needs a specialist to handle the deal. It might be very small property. Other agents don't want to sell it. Remote area, I've done that. Or odd transaction where maybe I can expedite the process on behalf of my client. But I just don't do it normally. Redfin here, they sign a listing agreement, and then they're advertising that property to all these other buyers. Are they disclosing that that's their listing? More importantly, are they treating the buyer to all the listings fairly so the buyer gets the best deal possible? Or are they pushing them to sell the Redfin listing? Well, you know the answer. And so by saying you get more views and by saying they get preferred placement, their customers are getting really worse service or being taken advantage of. So at the end of the day, how do you feel? That's my list. And again, Redfin agents are decent people. They sell my listings. I treat them professionally, respectfully. And I have some friends who are in management at Redfin as well. They're a big company. But as a company focus, they've been destructive to our industry, I believe. I believe they've been dishonest with their position in the industry. They've been dishonest with sellers, with buyers. They're dishonest with lenders in every regard. And so I'll compete with them. It doesn't really bother me that I have to compete with them because it bothers me that they're putting out other competition that should be in business because they're being bullied out by Redfin's business model. So what do you think? Put your comments below. Am I on track? Am I a hater? Am I off track? I'd love to get your feedback. Been in this business a long time, and my 2 North Stars is always what's best for my clients. So what's best for you? If you're thinking of buying, it's a good time to buy for you, maybe. Let's get together, get a good strategy together. Let's get you a great rate, get you locked in. If you're thinking of selling or moving out of town, let's get together, get a strategy in place to make that happen for you. Either way, reach out to me, call, text, or email me. If you like this video, like it. If you want more, subscribe down below. Reach out to me at LAProbate. Make today your best day ever. Thanks so much.